Well, we've brought in a few more signings, but our strikers still can't score. Welcome back to part 3 of our Zero to Hero series with Taunton Town FC, where today we are going to be facing Hungerford and Eastbourne Borough in the National League South. Since you were last with me, we can see results are still a little bit iffy. We lost those 2 games, both 2-0 in the first matches of the season. We did then beat Farnborough 2-0. We had a draw against Dartford. We've lost against St Albans, got absolutely thumped 3-0 by them. And then we've just won 1-0 against Chippenham through a penalty from Lloyd James. On the transfer front, we have got a couple more players that might be leaving. We can see we're spending £15 over the wage budget at the moment. Nick McCooty and Jared Lewitton are both looking at potentially leaving at the moment. Jared Lewington only talking to Froome, so it's touch and go whether he goes or not. Nick McCooty, however, he's talking to 12 different clubs, so very likely he goes, and that would save us, you can't see it, it's behind my face, but £300 in player wages every week, so we might be able to bring in some more players. Since the last episode, we have done just that, though. Lloyd Irish, our third choice goalkeeper and current real life Taunton Town player, has left to go over to play for Flyde. We have brought in another 5 players. We needed a bit more squad depth in defence. We said that Charlie Noakes comes in as either a left back or a centre back. Again, he's not fantastic, but he is on a non-contract, so we don't necessarily have to be paying him any money unless we absolutely need him, which is quite nice. James Whiting has come in, English, 21 years old, to play in the centre of the park for us. He could improve quite a bit as well, potentially become a National League standard player, which is exactly what we want. Again, another free agent, of course, played a couple of games so far for the club. His passing's really good. I think he's quite good for this level at the moment as well. We then brought in a man I spoke about in the last episode who I wanted to bring in as our main striker originally, but he wanted way too much money. I think we went back and forth in terms of contract negotiations over the course of 2 months, maybe 7 or 8 times. But Martel Taylor-Crossdale has joined the club as our striker. Previously, obviously, played for Chelsea, played for Fulham. He had a couple of seasons on loan at Colchester, and then he went to Weymouth. That wasn't actually loan, he was there before being released by them. He's played 3 games for us. You can see so far he hasn't scored any goals, which is very, very disappointing. Let you guys in on a secret as well as about why I like Martel Taylor-Crossdale. A few years ago, I think it would have been on FM23, I was in charge of a Chelsea team that could not score a goal for the life of them. This is a team that has Tammy Abraham still in it at this point. Some big name strikers, some guys that should have been scoring goals, and none of them could manage it. I think we were having games in the Premier League when I was playing it where maybe we were having 20 shots and still losing 2-0 because we just couldn't convert. And a mate of mine turned around and went, just put Martel Taylor-Crossdale in there as a little bit of a giggle, and the man came on and scored 2 goals in his first game for the club at Chelsea and continued to do so for about 6-7 games in a row. So hopefully he can cut it at this level. Although it would indicate so far his lack of goals, maybe he can't. We've also brought in a, I guess, regen, Nelson Ashcroft, English 16-year-old who can play either on the left or the right hand of midfield. He's just on a youth contract at the moment. We can see he's played 1 game and got a 7.1 rating, which is all very, very good to come in as a backup. And of course, backs potential again. That's very, very nice. That's what we want. Players that can improve lots. And then finally, Josh Leslie Smith, English 22-year-old, again can either play on the right of the back 4 or play in the centre of it equally adeptly, which is really, really nice. Although his crossing as a wing back or a full back of 1 is not ideal, but hey ho. Again, a lot of the players we can bring in leading Trident League, so not really suited for this level yet, but we're working what we can. Again, he's played 1 game so far and got a 7.2 rating, so we're more than happy with that. Tactics-wise, we have dropped to a 4-4-2. It's very non-league. I mean, you don't get a lot more non-league than a 4-4-2, really, do you? And as I've said, that's it. Continue. Jared Lewitton, our 28-year-old striker that isn't likely to be playing any games for us, has just agreed to leave and join Froome. That was right. He's not going out on transfer. He's going out on loan, and they're paying 90% of his wages every week. which is the best we could do because no one would buy him. So he's just going out on loan because we're never going to use him, and it gets that wage bill off of our books, because that means now if we have a look, we're now £84 we can spend on wages. That is going to be essential. But now, though, this is going to be our team to face Hungerford. We've got Bycroft in goal, Falston, Purcell, Leslie Smith and Pearson as our back four today. Stern, James, Budd and Zach Smith in midfield, and then Jaden Smith and Taylor Crossdale up front. See if either of that front two can actually manage to score a goal today. At the moment, our main scorer is Stern over on the left, although admittedly, he did score most of his goals when he was playing as an attacking left winger, if memory serves. But he's at the age of, I think, 31, not the guy I would be normally relying on for goals, but also seems to be the one that we're relying on for goals. And they are playing a horrible, I never know what to call it, back five, back seven, whatever you want to call it. We're obviously, like I said, playing a very, very non-league 4-4-2. You don't see much of it in the top flights of any European league now. But down in the dark depths of non-league English football, 4-4-2, still very, very rampant. Although we seem to be seeing less of it this season. I am just going to very quickly cover up your page, drop that to key highlights. I moved the tactic about, and I like to watch it on extended highlights when I do that, just so I can get a better idea of what maybe needs tweaking. Big ball forward there for Zach Smith to run onto. He's never going to get near it because we just don't have that pacier players at the moment. And hopefully that could change at some point. Maybe with that spare wage budget we've now got, we can actually bring in some quicker players who can play a bit of a higher pace game. Taylor Crossdale there getting on the end of that big ball forward and knocking it back to Stern, who is tackled. It's into Taylor Crossdale. Jaden Smith now. Stern again, the man I spoke about at the start. And Martel Taylor Crossdale. This is what we brought him into the club for. This is what that man can do. He's finally... This is what it was. He didn't want to score in those first 3 games he was at the club. He said, I'm going to wait. I am a bit of a diva. I am a club star. I'm not going to score until it is live on YouTube for the world to see. That is what Taylor Crossdale has done there. Of course, if you are enjoying this, and I have mentioned before, and I'm sure it is a little bit annoying, if you do enjoy the episode, please do drop a like down below. It just really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, getting this out, and YouTube pushing the video so other people can see it, and it really helps me out. So it'd be very, very much appreciated. That was a big ball forward there to Thomas, and whoever this is here, if I can click on him, which I can, one of our defenders was just running away from that big ball that was coming forward then. Not exactly what we want them to be doing. We want them heading towards the ball, not away from it. You'd think that would be kind of common sense as a footballer, not to run away from the ball that's coming towards you, especially as a defender. But maybe it's something we need to mention in the next team meeting. Guys, if the ball comes towards you, try and get on the end of it. Try and clear it away from our goal. Don't run away from it and allow the opposition to come flying and bearing down upon Bycroft, who is here, just dribbling out of goal, should we call it. That is making me a little bit concerned, but we'll allow it. Leslie Smith here over to Zach Smith. Plays that one forward to Jaden Smith, who manages to skin a defender, and Jaden Smith scored his first goal as well. What is this all about? It's all suddenly come together for the 2 strikers who have not yet scored a goal for the club. And then today against Hungerford, they both decide to score a goal. Now, if they could just keep doing that for the rest of the season, that would be wonderful. It's actually pretty game-changing if they can do so. Hungerford here with a free kick in our half, and it is launched forward. Leslie Smith tries to head it away, completely misses it. Purcell there to collect that ball. Leslie Smith just acrobatically, shall we say, getting rid of that one out of our penalty area. And now we can go on some sort of counter-attack. Stern there. I mean, he brings it down, and it is taken off of him very, very quickly there. And now Hungerford going to attempt to build an attack from the back by the looks of it. Big ball forward again, very non-league, and it is headed away by our defender. to be honest, I'll take those big balls forward all day long because we seem to deal with those quite well. Stern has been brought down there, and it is a second yellow for the Hungerford player. And that is, as it said down below, an early bar for him. A Hungerford 2-0 down and down to 10 men. And you'd think that today that is going to be job done then. Purcell is tired and on a yellow card. So we're going to bring on Nick Grimes for him, I think. And then other that, I think we could probably just leave it. I mean, I'll bring on James Whitting, or Whitting. I'm not really sure which one it is, and I probably will alternate between the two. We'll bring him on for James because James is 30 years old and been playing a lot of games recently, so we probably don't want to tire him out too much, although here he is chesting it down and then getting tackled. Stern playing as an inverted winger, taking the inverted part to heart. He's gone completely the opposite side of the pitch. Zach Smith now whips it into the area to Martel Taylor-Crossdale. He does get a shot off, but it is easily held by the Hungerford goalkeeper. And we can see now that in the league, that pushes us up to 14th as things stands, 10 points from 7 games. I think that is very, very nice. It's saying add team instruction, work ball into box. I'm 99% sure I already had that on, so I'm not sure what's happened in between games. But never mind. Jay Falston can come off. Dan Ball can come on for him. We'll just protect our back four a little bit. And when I say protect them, I mean not let them get too tired, because we don't really, in the grand scheme of things, have a lot of them. But that is a very, very nice 2-0 win. And it makes me very happy to actually see our strikers scoring. I've just realised as well, it's behind my microphone. You can't see it. But of course, I am repping the little Taunton pin that they sent as well, because why wouldn't I have that on? It is fantastic and shiny. Do we go and have a look at trying to bring anyone else in at the moment? I feel like we should. But both my strikers have just started scoring because I really like the look of one of the strikers we have on our shortlist, which is Enoch Ashante, a Ghanaian 20-year-old striker who used to play for Spurs. He looks quite good. You can either play him as a target forward, we could play him as a pressing forward. Either of those alongside the advance forward. I'd argue maybe playing him as a target forward. But if both our strikers are going to start scoring, then I don't necessarily need him. We'll have a think about it, I think. So it is another 1 in and 1 out for the club. We obviously saw already, but Nick Makuti has gone over to the Met Police at 30 years old to go play for them down in, I don't even know what league they're in. I'm genuinely not sure what league they're in at the moment. The Southern Premier South, right? So he's taken a bit of a drop down, gone to them. He has scored 2 goals on his debut though, so fair play to him. On our side, we haven't brought in another striker. We've instead decided to be sensible and shore up our defence a little bit. And we've brought in George McLennan. I'm guessing it'd be McLennan. Either way, 26-year-old English left back. Isn't likely to improve very much, but looks fairly solid at the moment. At least is showing up as a decent National League South player. He could become a decent National League player. So we like that. It does mean for our match today, which is against Eastbourne Borough, who are 10th in the league at the moment and doing fairly well. This is what our lineup looks like. It's Bycroft in goal. McLennan comes in on the left, which means Folston has been able to shift over to the centre of defence alongside Leslie Smith and Pearson. We've then got Stern, James Budd, Zach Smith, Jaden Smith and Taylor Crossdale. So all of that remains the same. This sort of back four now can shuffle around a bit depending who we've got fit, depending who we've got available, because we've got Folston who we want to be playing a lot, but equally we've now got McLennan, who's a very capable left back, so why not play both of them? Much the same with Leslie Smith, obviously brought in as predominantly a right back, but is arguably one of the better centre-backs, and Pearson's doing an absolutely okay job there, so why not use him? Eastbourne Borough playing a 4-2-3-1. Don't see much of that. I mean, I say a 4-2-3-1. Is it a 4-2-3-1 or is it a 4-2-3-1 DM? I'm not sure. I think it's 2 defensive midfielders rather than 2 central midfielders. Yeah, it is. And they instantly switched around then as I was looking at them, which it seems like a little bit of a strange thing to be doing. We have got a corner here early on though. It's launched in by Lloyd James out to Budd It's a beautiful goal by Joe Budd. Look at that one. An absolute thunderous pile driver of a shot by Joe Budd there. Great stuff from the corner. It is cleared, but only back to James, who manages to find Budd on the edge of the area. Hits that one first time, pretty much wrong foots, I think, the goalkeeper, who can't dive that way fast enough because it completely changed direction, let's be honest. And lovely stuff. We're 1-0 up. That might not last very long. Oh, that was close. I was about to say it might not last very long with Eastbourne here having that free kick. But instead, the next highlight is with us again. Budd out wide to Zach Smith, into Jaden Smith, all the way back to Leslie Smith. I've just realised there's a lot of Smiths in this side. Jaden Smith into the box. Can he get another goal? He cannot. That one, it hits the post and is eventually cleared by Eastbourne's defender. But Jaden Smith and Taylor Crossdale in this episode all of a sudden have come to life, started taking shots on. Both just got yellow cards, so they seem to, you know, be leading from the front in terms of pressing and tackling, shall we say. Yeah, we'll play for set pieces. Also, I meant to have a look. Let's have a look at these instructions. I don't have work ball into box on. That said, it seems to be working quite well so far. It did in the last match. We're 1-0 up in this one. Let's not mess around with it too much at the moment. Let's just tell everyone they're not that bad, but they could be a little bit better than they are. I feel like that's fair to say. Eastbourne a free kick to start off our second half here. It does find one of their players, but goes wide off of the header. And now we are going to start from Bycroft, who just pumps that one forward to no one in a purple shirt. Is it purple? Is it red? I find that very hard to tell. I'd say it's purple. I'd just say we've just conceded while I was looking at a cup of tea. It is, though, a very, very nice mug. Despite that, back to the football. Regain some focus. I probably need to watch the replay of that. I've gone full Arsene Wenger. I didn't see it. I wasn't watching. A big looping ball over the top. Leslie Smith can't backpedal or forward pedal fast enough. And we have just been caught out there. We've also got a huge amount of yellow cards. And I'm not entirely sure why. Apart from, again, this is non-league football. And the guys don't know exactly what they need to be doing in terms of tackling. So the result of that, go in with both feet and hope for the best. But I feel like we need to tell some of these players to just ease off the tackles a second. So what we don't want is a red card. Pearson, big ball forward. Jaden Smith managed to get into the box and find it. I was about to say it's found absolutely no one. He did actually quite well to get on the end of that. The end product, however, was a little bit horrendous. And now a corner once again is caught us out. And it's 2-1 down for Taunton today. It was going so well, ladies and gentlemen. So well. 57 minutes gone. We probably need to be thinking about some changes here, maybe. Freshening up a little bit and just seeing what we could do. I mean, Jaden Smith, despite me going, oh, he did well there, isn't doing all that well. So Harry Warwick can come on for him. And then Mick Lennon is having an awful debut here. Dan Ball going to come over on the left just to, bring a little bit of experience to that back four, encourage the team a little bit, which is also what we're going to do on the touchline. Pearson has managed to clear that one. Warwick has come back and gathered up the loose ball as well, but only so much as to just kick it forward without any real sort of direction or aim. And it does mean Eastbourne have managed to get across into the box, and we have got very, very lucky there. Blessed by the post just being in the right place at the right time, rather than our goalkeeper or any of our players. We're still in this, but we don't seem to be doing a lot to be in this. Taylor Crossdale's having a bit of an awful game as well, which isn't great. I think we're just going to take off Stern, though. Bring on Ashcroft. I don't think he's necessarily going to make loads of difference. And we have to change him to a winger because he can't play as an inverted winger. But I would like to give him some game time. And at the moment, he's fit. And Stern's on a yellow card. So all of these things mean he's probably a good player to bring on. Are we going to get another highlight, or is this just going to end 2-1 now? Let's quickly go attacking for the last minute. Never mind. It's a 2-1 loss then to Eastbourne. The first win was nice, wasn't it? It was lovely. It means we're down in 15th though. 15th, which I believe is where the Taunton side are currently in real life. So, I mean, we're not in the relegation zone. We're expected to finish 23rd by the media, and we're expected to avoid relegation in terms of what the board wants. So 15th, actually, in the grand scheme of things, is probably pretty decent. It just doesn't feel very decent after we had that first game where we looked really, really good. And then that second game where we didn't look so good. So we're just going to carry on. Hopefully our team start actually understanding each other and where they are and that sort of thing at the moment. I mean, actually, we flip back to here, you can kind of see at the moment team cohesion is poor. There's some new players in. There's quite a lot of new players in, not just the ones we brought in, but the ones that Taunton brought in real life, of course. And tactically, I mean, I've seen better tactical familiarity than that, if I'm completely honest. There's so many players that just don't know what they're doing. All of which is having a little bit of an impact. Hopefully in a few games' time, my guys will start getting to know each other a little bit. And when one of them calls Smith, I won't have 3 guys turn around because they'll know who they're talking about. Anyway, that regardless of how many Smiths we have in the side, if you have enjoyed today's episode, please do drop a like down below. It does really help out. As I mentioned before, it's always really, really appreciated. And if you haven't got round to it yet, hit the subscribe button as well. Follow along, see how we do with this Taunton side. It's going to be a long year by the looks of it, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Until next time though, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you over on tomorrow's episode with Taunton Town FC. Bye bye.